Hello and welcome back to Nothing Left Unsaid. I am your host, Abigail, and I am so excited to be back with you all today. There's so much going on in the world right now, but today I am very excited to have my friend Azza on the pod with me to chat politics and everything else that's going on in Arizona. So stay tuned. Really excited to just jump right into that. I'm so excited to be here with my friend Azza today. She is the executive director of CAIR-AZ, which is the local chapter of America's largest Muslim civil rights and advocacy organizations. Thank you so much for being here. It's so exciting to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, it's a kind of a cooler day out today. We had some rain the last few days, some historic rain according to everyone on my social media. Did you get to do anything to enjoy the weather?
I went on a walk with my non-water resistant clothes because we don't own any in Arizona.
What's a rain jacket? Never heard of her. That sounds lovely.
Yeah. What about you?
I was pretty busy this past few days. I've just been moving, but I now have a backyard, so I was able to kind of enjoy the cooler weather and the rain smells from my patio, which is something I haven't been able to do for a while. So
well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm really excited to have you here today. I think just with all of the everything going on, it's very timely. I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about CAIR and your work there.
Yeah, of course. So we do a lot of pro bono legal work for folks that have been discriminated against due to Islamophobia, especially after 9/11 and after the 2016 election. We saw a spike in Islamophobia. So that's
The
just
Muslim
part of
ban
our
and all
work.
that.
Actually, exactly. That's the bread and butter of our work. But we also do advocacy work and we do a lot of educational work in our chapter here in Arizona, just making sure folks are staying aware and engaged, mostly in a nonpartisan way, in a nonpartisan way, where we're talking to folks about like what different offices mean, et cetera, et cetera. I know for myself, I wasn't politically involved growing up. Because I come from a political background, so I was always hesitant to come from a political because of like my father. So I was always hesitant to join, the political movements and get involved. And
Yeah.
a lot of folks in our communities also feel the same way. So kind of taking away that stigma that politics is bad was something that we're really striving to do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Can you share a little bit about like maybe some of the work that you do that does some of that destigmatizing for people? I imagine maybe it's stuff that doesn't feel as overtly political, but
Yeah.
still is.
Yeah. So like one of the ones that, most folks that are in politics now, like most of my colleagues, like it's so easy for us to know what a senator does, or like whether it's a local or a federal level. It's easy for us to know what the city council does, but a lot of community members vote for presidents.
Mm-hmm.
They're not thinking about like how important it is to have the local level politicians align with your politics, whatever they may be.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We have folks that like care about BLM, for example,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you care about BLM and you're worried about police brutality, then you need to make sure that you have, a city council that supports you, that makes sure, the police departments that are in your neighborhood align with your values.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a much more local issue that
Exactly.
people need to be more involved with. For
Exactly.
Sure. That makes sense. Could you tell us a little bit about, you guys are doing some amazing work to advocate for students who are being targeted for deportation and, having their freedom of speech silenced. And I know you all are doing a bunch of like know your rights stuff, and a lot of that is specifically for students. So I was just hoping you could share some of your perspectives on just, the attacks that students are facing from this regime that we are dealing with right now, and just a little bit of your work with that.
Yeah. I think people are not comprehending the extent of how dangerous what's happening is. Usually dictatorships don't happen overnight. They happen with smaller rights being taken away from you. One of those is freedom of speech. I know my family came here for that American dream, the freedom of speech, the being able to openly express your beliefs, right? Because that's what we're sold about the United States.
Right.
This is such a dangerous rhetoric because at some point they may have started with the international students now, but they're going to go after every single person that doesn't align with the party, right? That's ruling.
Yeah.
So I think I feel fear from this, but it also motivates me to do more, yes. But it's also really scary that there is no due process. A lot of the folks, when they were revoking visas, a lot of the attorneys, this was a first time for everything because there was no due process. So they had to figure out how to support these students. And I don't think I had mentioned this to you. I may have mentioned it to, maybe Allison from your org, but we had a case of someone that was disappeared here in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Maybe almost 2 weeks after Mahmoud Khalil.
Gotcha. That didn't really make much news, I don't think.
Yes, it didn't make much news because we couldn't find the spelling for his name. He wasn't politically active at all.
Oh, at all. I mean, a bunch of the people who have been, it's just been they've gone to a protest, but not even.
He wasn't going to protests, and he had expressed concern that, DHS has come and spoken to him and said they want him to come in. So he expressed that to the mosque, and the mosque was like, hey, call CAIR. Don't go without them. Let's have this conversation first before you go and talk to them. And he never showed up after that. So 2 days after that, they reached out to us and they were like, hey, we're worried about him. This and that happened. And I was like, hey, can you give me his full contact or the spelling of his name?
Yeah.
Basically. And we couldn't find him in the database because one, it was either because he wasn't put in there yet.
Right, because we have no idea.
Exactly.
We have no idea what they're doing with people.
Exactly. But we also couldn't spell his name. So we had to do the usual, do a welfare check. Someone was able to get us his first and last name, and we were able to identify him. Thankfully, he has an attorney. And he was able to attain one, and a great immigration attorney, but the immigration attorney who's one of the top.
Yeah.
He was so concerned about the way that this stupid student he was so concerned about the way the student was taken. And then a week later, it was about 60, and then 60 students, and then 150, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, I think to your point, they're definitely, as you said, they're starting with international students, and they've started with, people who are seen as less, I guess, sympathetic. And I mean, there's definitely some finger pointing to be done as why these international students in particular are viewed as unsympathetic, and what prior politicians like Joe Biden have done to really put a target on their backs, I think in the first place. Yep. But that's definitely horrifying. And for
protesting a genocide.
Right,
which rightfully so.
Right, exactly.
They're just asking to stop the killing of Palestinians.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I think another thing that what you were saying brought up for me is just idea of due process. Like they're really kind of, I think due process has always been kind of a bit of an illusion here. Like there's always been groups of people in the United States that have never been afforded due process, but they're really just kind of shattering any illusion that even existed. And yeah, to your point, it's starting with them, but it's going to come for you and your issue at some point, unless you're part of the Nazi white supremacist party, essentially, that's taking over. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
It's a scary time.
it really is.
Yeah.
Well, you guys do amazing work, and
So do you.
Arizona. Oh, thank you. Arizona's definitely lucky to have you all.
Thank you.
Yeah. So definitely, everyone, support CAIR Arizona. Send them a donation. Become a monthly recurring donor, even if it's just a few bucks, $5.
Or just follow us and see what's happening in the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Share the resources. Share the information.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see. On a bit of a, I guess, similar note, like, how are you taking care of yourself? That's always a difficult question when people ask me that. I'm like, oh, how am I taking care of myself? That's a good, but yeah.
You know, that's a really hard one because 2 years ago, I was really into lifting. And then the last year,
I never knew that.
Yeah. And then the last year, it was my first time, like, I got into it. And I really loved going there. And that was my way of, like, taking care of myself. That was the only thing I did for myself during the day. So now I'm just taking lots of walks and watching Turkish soap operas because they're so dramatic.
Okay.
And, you know, it's like a different kind of drama.
Yeah. Like a little different than like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
I still haven't seen that.
I haven't watched the new season, but the first season was crazy.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, like, especially in this field. Like, I think it's a struggle, like, figuring out ways to just de-stress because your brain is constantly like on like, oh, how should I do this later? Or, you know, what should I do next week about this? Or who should I call? Or
Yeah.
so it's a constant battle between, like, you know, like taking care of me or taking care of everything else.
Yes. No, I understand that for sure. Even like just opening your phone to like do a mindless scroll, like, I don't know about you, but I can't really do a mindless scroll because I just see something that makes me think of, oh, wait, we should say something about this, or like,
yes.
So.
Or then you're
tough.
Like going on a rabbit hole because you're like, oh my gosh, did this really happen?
Yes. I think maybe we need like a no phone weekend or something like that. Everybody lock their phones up and just like go out and touch some grass.
Great idea.
Be in nature.
We should have grass in all our offices. This should be mandatory. I do think I also really struggle with social media. I think it's been, I mean, I'm so thankful for it now because it has opened like people's eyes to what's going on, for example, in Palestine, in Sudan, where people have had these issues for years, Congo, but we weren't paying attention. And now that we have social media, it's changed everyone, but also it's a struggle because you have to sift through misinformation and disinformation as you're scrolling.
It's so hard to know what's real now. The deep fakes are
exactly. And I've fallen into these, scams and like buy this dog and it's great. And next thing you know, I'm putting my bank account somewhere.
Oh, no. Well, yeah,
True story.
Wait, so you bought a dog?
I thought I was buying a dog.
You were buying a dog and you got scammed.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We need to have, was this like on Instagram or like, how
it
did
was
this
on Instagram.
What kind of dog was it?
A dachshund.
Okay, well that's
a long-haired dachshund.
Okay, that's I could understand that. I do like a little long-bodied dog.
They're so cute and they're so cuddly.
I don't know if I've ever cuddled one, but I could understand
They're
that.
just so cute.
I could understand. So did you get an actual dog that you
I didn't. I like got discouraged after that
that would
incident.
that would be discouraging.
But at some point, I'll heal and
Maybe that would be a good, like, you're going on walks, like good self-care, take
like
the dog
buddy.
for a walk,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
cutie pie.
I have a cat. I would love
Ooh.
to get her on a leash and walk her majestically through the neighborhood, but she does not really fuck with the leash at this point.
Yeah. But there's cats
But
that fuck with the leash.
They are. They look so, like, they just prance. They just, like, they look
God.
so majestic. Yeah.
I know.
I was in Flagstaff a few weeks ago, and I was at the park with my friend who just had a baby.
Aw.
And there was just this, like, gray, like, long-haired cat just, like, absolutely, like, strutting
my
through with
God.
its leash, and I was like, oh, I need that.
It's a special breed, I think. So you'll have to look into it. I think my sister knows
Like
their
more
name. I'll have to text you and
leash-friendly
let you know.
cats?
They're leash friendly because I
Okay.
saw someone at Ulta holding
With
their
their-
cat. And she's
Alright.
like, yeah, she goes with me everywhere. I'm like, my cat would.
Oh, you
'Cause
have
I have a cat,
too?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's a little
ladies.
punk.
Okay, mine too.
Like-
What's your cat's name?
Oliver.
Oliver. That's very
My
cute.
sister named it.
Oh. Do you like the name?
You know,
Well, we'll make sure your sister doesn't see this.
she knows.
Well, yeah, sisters.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to give him like a tough like Arabic name like za'atar, which is basically like
this-
an oregano
Yeah, the
thing.
seasoning, yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
love Zatar. Yeah.
yeah, me too.
Well, maybe is your cat friendly to other cats?
No.
No, yeah, mine
No,
either.
he's such a little punk. Last night he woke me up at like 3 a.m. like just jumping and like scratching things, and I'm like, oh my god, the devil.
It's just my cat. Can you see the difference between these two pictures? That's hilarious. Cats. Yes.
Shady.
Yes, very shady. Let's see. I guess so. You're doing walks. Do you have any like fun travel plans or anything that you're looking forward to this summer? Perhaps.
I don't. But I do have like an executive women's like retreat at the end of the year every year. So I don't know where, but
Is it usually like in Arizona or?
it's usually I last year we went to Mexico, the year before we went to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So I don't know where we're gonna go this year. I sent suggestions for Guatemala. So if you guys are seeing this, please tell Leslie. I'm just kidding.
About that. That sounds really lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What about you?
I have been traveling a lot this year already, mostly work-wise, but I'm about to go to Spain tomorrow.
What?
Actually,
Tomorrow, and
yeah.
you're here with me?
Yes.
I'm honored.
Well, you're
I
very
hope you're
special
packed.
guest. I am packed. I was up. I look a little tired today because I was up late packing. So, yes, doing that. Gonna go to a music festival, which I'm very excited about. But it'll be
Wow.
my first time traveling internationally, like by myself.
Oh.
So I'm excited, but a little nervous. But I think there'll be some. I'm sure it'll be a little scary at times. Just
Yeah.
like I don't know what I'm doing, but always ready to embrace
I need a call
new
back
experience.
to hear about how this went.
We'll
Because I'm
definitely-
sure
we'll
it's going to
definitely
be
debrief.
amazing. And don't be scared. I feel like once you go, I think after a day or two,
You're like, "Oh, I got
you're
this."
like, yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
was born
always
for
that
this.
first day.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, oh my God, I'm so afraid of everything.
Yeah. No, I think it's like it's not even like being scared. It's just like a little nervous.
Anxious.
It's like a new. It's just like a new.
Yeah,
thing. It's like-
environment.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like to travel. I like to do things myself. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be good.
How exciting.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do I have for you? Oh, so you live in the East Valley. You may have heard about the Michelin-starred taco pop-up. Did you make it over for that? by
I
chance?
didn't, but I'm
didn't
thinking
either.
about going.
Today's the last day.
I'm not going.
I think they close
I
at
heard
10.
it's an
I think they close
hour,
at 10. So.
But it's like an hour wait.
Yeah. So
I
was, I was thinking about going last night, and I had to be a little realistic with myself about all the things that I had to get done. But I did end up just grabbing some tacos from Taco Boys, and like
I love Taco
that always
Boys.
hits.
Yeah,
But
Taco Boys is amazing, and Tacos Chiwas.
Tacos Chivas, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Do you have a favorite taco place here?
I would say Tacos Chiwas because
okay.
it's like simple.
Yeah.
Like, and I love their grilled onions.
They have a location downtown Mesa, is that right?
They have one in downtown Mesa. They had one in Chandler and it closed. It was right by my house.
Oh yes, I did actually. I did see recently that one closed because I was gonna go there.
Yeah, so it's either
ago.
Phoenix or downtown Mesa,
Very good. Love some tacos.
which is a hidden gem. I love downtown Mesa.
Yeah,
it's so cutesy.
Downtown Mesa is so cutesy.
Yeah.
Before I like really lived in the valley, I don't know what I thought Mesa was, but I did not expect like that little downtown area
to be the way
so,
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Mesa
It's
is
like
really
old timey,
great.
almost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great and it's underrated.
Yeah.
I think once people figure it out, it's gonna be popping.
Definitely. Well, and they have like all of the like obviously all the best like Asian restaurants are down there.
I know. I love downtown Mesa.
Yeah. Me too. Lots of good shopping. Lots of good restaurants.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff to do.
Yeah.
Nice to stroll.
Yeah.
Go for a walk.
Yeah. Good coffee
With your cat,
shops.
perhaps.
One day.
One day. Okay, so for a bit of a internet trend like bit, everybody's doing the propaganda you're not falling for trend. So I'm just wondering if there's any propaganda that you're not falling for that you would like to share.
That being anti-genocide is anti-Semitic.
That is a good one.
And this goes to every genocide. Like, this is not, yes, right now the genocide is happening in Palestine, right? But this could be any of us, right? So I will always and forever be anti-genocide.
Absolutely. Any propaganda you're spreading?
No.
That's okay.
I don't think so.
I didn't.
But I'm sure I'm spreading some propaganda.
I mean, you're literally spreading propaganda right now, but
I'm sure to my family or something. I'm like, they think I'm like a senator or something. My family back home is like.
It is always funny to hear what people in your life, like, they know you work in politics, and to hear what they think that you do or what power they think you have.
Oh
and
my
you're
gosh.
like,
The things they ask me sometimes, like closer to the election, like I'll have like my dad's friends calling me and they're like, hey, who do you think is going to win? Who's going to win?
I hate that.
What do you know? And I'm like, I
don't
actually
know
just
shit.
like you.
I literally am just holding my breath like the rest of you, wishing we had better options.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a common experience for people that work in this field.
Yeah,
for sure.
my mom still doesn't know what I do. Like, if I'm like, oh, I'm going to a protest, she like immediately thinks I'm going to like get arrested or something. So she's always like crying over something. She's like, oh, please don't go.
Yeah. Yes.
Why you do this to yourself? Why?
I did a sit-in once, and I told my mom, like, there's potential that like there will be some like civil disobedience, and she definitely like freaked out. And then every time I was going to a protest or a rally after that, I just would kind of wait to tell her till afterwards, just for her peace of mind.
Yeah.
But also, if she wanted to come, then
I do that now.
yeah.
Which sit-in did you participate in?
It was one at Cinema's office a few years ago.
I was there too.
Okay, wait,
Yeah,
there was a couple. Maybe we at the same time. There was like the one that I actually did.
Jesse Jackson was there. Yeah, I was there too.
Okay, wow. We were there.
What a small world.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't believe how long ago that was.
I know. I can't believe I got arrested. I wasn't panicking because I was getting arrested. I was panicking in the cell. The cell they take you into to go inside.
Oh, yeah.
There's 10 seconds. I was like, there's no windows.
Yeah, no.
And I found out I was claustrophobic.
Did you ride in the paddy wagon too?
What's the paddy wagon?
It's like the big like cop car that they put all the.
No, I was
all
in
the
a
people,
cop car.
Just a regular cop car?
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
no.
was so proud of myself. I was like,
You're like, look at me, I got arrested. No, there was like 10 of us that they threw in this like van, basically.
Oh.
But they didn't
Oh.
put in, the group that I was with, we didn't get put in cells. They just kind of like,
Oh.
yeah.
I mean, they took me out and then they took me in a cell to question me and then brought me out.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm not sure. And it was creepy being in that cell. Like, I never want to go to jail. I never, ever want to go to
I
jail.
think that is a fairly common sentiment. But same. Yeah, same. It's crazy how long ago that was. And now we're dealing with, we got like Ruben Gallego trying to outperform Kirsten Sinema on letting us down, I guess.
I think my worry with that is that people have sounded the alarm about Ruben a long time ago.
I mean, they did with Sinema
especially
too.
the Black community. They were very outspoken about how anti-Black he was. And if you're like against justice for anyone,
Then you're against it for
you're
everyone.
gonna exactly.
It's just like Palestine.
It's just at some point, like, you're gonna sell out your people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was like, you know, I think he had that little like deal or whatever that he made with like, saying that like the Phoenix police shouldn't be investigated or something like that. Do you remember what I'm talking
I don't remember
but
that.
he's definitely like pro cop, and because they had the Phoenix PD had that investigation by the DOJ, and I think he like wrote some letter saying like they shouldn't investigate or whatever.
That's
and
ridiculous.
Obviously, I'm sure he's taken helicopter money, so it's like definitely not surprising, but
if it's anyone who's a civil servant to us, they should always be investigated to make sure,
absolutely,
that they are fit enough to lead people.
And the Phoenix PD is like one of the most brutal and violent in the country. So
100%.
For him to,
we've crazy to think that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that, like, with everyone sounding the alarms, these politicians are still so silent, and their silence is, they're complicit.
Yeah, absolutely. Fully participant even.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, that's very true. People sounded the alarm about cinema.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's disappointing to be back in the same like boat once again, but I think that I don't know. It feels like people are really opening their eyes. Social media, just like the younger generation is so vocal, and I think very
clear, the change is
very
gonna come
clear-eyed about like just the system being white supremacist and rotting to its core. So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully we won't be back here with our next senator.
Yeah. And I mean, that's an honest conversation that we need to have too. I think I was listening to Trevor Noah at some point. I think it was Trevor Noah. Yeah. Because, there was apartheid in South Africa. And I'm sure there's still, it's still not perfect in South Africa, right? There is still, some sort of like colonization after effect, et cetera, et cetera. But the only reason they were able to move past it is because they had the hard conversations about like, hey, we really messed up during this apartheid. This is the only way you can move forward, is having that conversation, and never will it happen again. And that's what happened in Germany as well. After the Holocaust, they put all these rules in place to make sure that this never happens in Germany again.
Yeah, but we are sweeping it under the rug.
You can't
pretending
sweep this. Like
we've somehow gotten past our horrible like roots of of this country, because it's really just evolved.
Yeah, and
instead of going back, we need to envision something new, and
I don't even think it's envisioning something new. I think it's having the conversation.
For sure.
I think it starts by us facing ourselves in the mirror and being like, how are we contributing to the way the system is right now, and what did we do to get to this place? Because each one of us is like, we've all done something at some point in our life, right? That contributed to all of this in some way or another. Like, whether it's like not knowing about like Palestine and having like your Palestinian friends like pre-October 7th like bring it up to you, but you sweeping it under the rug because you're like, oh, like oh, they're fine. Like, they seem fine, right?
Yeah.
Or, your black friends telling you, like, hey, I think this congressman is anti-black. Please listen to me. And we kind of swept it under the rug. So,
And now he's our senator.
exactly.
Pulling the same shit that
Exactly.
we were warned about.
And we have to have higher expectations and harder conversations.
Not even just listening, but actually like listening, but then doing. Like, it's one thing to be like, okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
It's another thing to be like, okay, well, maybe that is a less, like, it's a harder political calculation, but we hear you, and like that's what we need to, because
Yeah.
we would avoid so much of the messes that we're in if we listened and then acted upon the things that we listened to, rather than just being like, okay, cool, thanks for that input,
Yeah, and I do want to add, Abigail, it like worries me because I think we're at a point where none of us know like how we can fix all of this, right? There's so much to fix, and there's so much heightened emotions. But this is the perfect time for people to actually like, this is like, we're falling apart. That's it, right? So that's building yourself up after you fell apart. And usually you come out stronger. It's just kind of like, yeah, this is so cliche, but after a breakup, if you're super devastated, once you get out of it, you're like a brand new, like super strong person that's like ready to take on the world. And I think that's what we need to do, is pick up the pieces and figure out how to build ourselves back up somehow.
Break up with the system that America is, and
I'm ready.
I think many people are, and more people are getting more ready.
Yeah. It's been a toxic relationship.
It's been the most toxic relationship for so many people. Well, I really enjoyed having you on today. Thank you so much for chatting with me and hanging out.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Wow, that was such a great chat. I'm so excited to have had Azza on the pod with me. It was a great conversation. It was really nice to just get to catch up with her a little bit. To follow her and her organization's work, follow CAIR-AZ on social media. They share trainings that they do. They share informational, educational stuff that everybody could benefit from knowing. And also, if you're able, support them with a monthly contribution. It doesn't have to be much, just a few bucks, but they do a really amazing work. And especially right now with all the targeting of students and just the racism against Muslim and Arab people, it's more important than ever to support their work. And we're very grateful for everything that they're doing to support the community. So give them a follow, support them with your dollars. And I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in.